number 323 where there is an illustration, or I can say the exhaustive how the cash flow actually make an effect. So logically you think that if some asset is increased, I will give you comparative 2 years balance sheet, 2007 and 2008. If in year 2007 asset is 100 rupees, and next year if the asset is 110 rupees, what is your interpretation about cash inflow or outflow? So how the asset can increase? So there is an outflow of money. So when asset increase, there is outflow of money. So there are a lot of items which has been given. Say for example, depreciation expense is a notional expense. So we add, as I have mentioned earlier, increase in deferred tax. Deferred tax is a liability. So this is an asset. Similarly, if liability increase, if asset increase, cash outflow. If liability increase, cash inflow. Deferred tax is a liability. Decrease in accounts receivable. So this is an asset. So again outflow. Decrease in inventory. Decrease in asset. So inflow. Increase in payable. So liability increase. Inflow. Loss on disposal. Why we are making loss here? Because in determining net income we do not consider net gain, therefore we make it an addition. Then there was a question from page number 326. So there is an illustration of a Fairway Corporation. Now what is the question? Similarly, there was a question from page number 223. Probably that is related to bond and bond interest. So according to matching concept, any expenses related to particular period we have to ascertain, because generally the date of closing account may not be equal to the date of making payment of interest, etc. So we have to segregate it. If the participant can ask what are the specific question from page number 223. 323 and 326, or I will back again if you will ask the question. Now where AS3 is applicable? If the turnover of a company or an enterprise is more than 50 crore in a financial year, if it is a listed company, cash flow statement of listed company shall be presented only under the indirect method. Indirect method is determining cash flow from profit, while direct method use each transaction, whether in a particular transaction cash inflow or outflow take place, that we will record and report by analyzing cases from operating, investing or financing cash. There is certain terms which has been defined. Cash comprises cash on hand and demand deposit with the banks. Cash equivalents are short term, highly liquid investment that are readily convertible into known amounts of cash and which are subject to an insignificant risk of changes in value. Cash flows are inflows and outflow of cash and cash equivalent. So cash flow statement contain inflow and outflow of cash and cash equivalent. Cash is actually comprised of several items: cash on hand, cash with the bank and cash equivalent. Cash means domestic currency. It means foreign currency is not cash. Check, demand draft and pay order subject to certain limitations. Postal order, stamp paper subject to provision of a particular stamp legislation. But general information I will share with you that stamp paper can be encased within 6 months of its purchasing. It means after 6 months stamp paper loses the value. So if you have any stamp paper, that is required to be used within 6 months of time. Question from Hyderabad. What are the demand deposit? Are they different from other deposit account in bank? Yes, demand deposits are those deposits which can be withdrawn any point of time. So generally now currently all fixed deposits are demand deposit. The reason is competition in the banking sector permit account holder to withdraw fixed deposit even without losing interest. But by principle, demand deposits are those deposits which can be withdrawn any point of time. So any amount lying in the current account or saving account is demand deposit. It can be withdrawn at any particular point of time. So there is no covenant or an agreement that the bank can refuse. Question from Bangalore, Sayed. How do we treat foreign currency? Foreign currency is case equivalent. Foreign currency is case equivalent. Fixed deposit is time deposit, but due to competition, the banks are now permitting encashing of fixed deposit premature without penalty of the interest. So large number of banks are now permitting premature fixed deposit to be withdrawn at any point of time. Case equivalents are very short term, highly liquid investment, convertible into cash with little delay and no penalty. In fixed deposit, someone has mentioned, but Barindra has mentioned that it is a time deposit. If there is a penalty of losing interest, then it may be considered as a time deposit. But looking to the competition scenario, currently all fixed deposit are like time deposit. Money market accounts, commercial papers, government treasury bills, these are the case equivalent. Commercial papers are maximum issuable within 180 days by certain companies. So operating case are the principal revenue producing activities of the enterprise and other activities that are not investing or financing activities. So we can say that operating activity is comprised of two items. What is ordinary activity of the business, and if one of the item is not covered as investing or operating financing activity, that may be considered as operating activity. Investing activities are the acquisition and disposal of long-term asset, fixed assets, and other investment not included in cash equivalent. Question from Anil. What is gain on disposal and whether it gets added or deducted from cash? So it depends how you have actually prepared profit and loss account. In profit and loss account, if you have considered gain, then profit contain surplus from ordinary activity and surplus from investing activity. Therefore, to segregate what is my operating cash, I will deduct first what is my investing activity, because my gain is from investing activity. Therefore, I will take it separately. So it is merely to segregate. The total cash does not change, but the fact is that we have to segregate ordinary or operating cash versus investing cash. Therefore, we make it separate. Financing activities are activities that result into changes in the size and composition of the owner's capital and borrowing of the enterprise. So it is related to equity, it is related to outside liability. But for gain, not only the gain which make the inflow of the cash, but the total value that we received by selling of the particular asset. So disposal value of the asset will be my cash inflow, not only the gain. And I have to segregate my total cash into investing, financing and operating cash. So how we can know what is operating activity? We can know on the basis of studying memorandum of a company, what is main objective of the company. So if you are a banking company, then for banking, giving loan is an ordinary activity and receiving deposit is an ordinary activity. For a manufacturer, depositing in a bank is an investing activity and taking loan is a financing activity. So depending upon main objective, the operating activity versus financing versus investing activity can be understood. So I will repeat. If you are a manufacturing company, taking loan from the bank is your financing activity. But the same giving loan for the bank, because it is ordinary activity, is operating cash. Similarly, you make payment of interest to the bank, it is your financing activity. For the bank, it is ordinary activity. Similarly, if you are paying interest of working capital, it is your operating activity. So, your interest payment, you cannot segregate until and unless you know which kind of interest you are paying. Interest for term loan is your financing activity. And for CC or OD, it is your operating cash. For bank, all receipt is ordinary or operating cash. So what is your objective will determine. Similarly, say for example you are a manufacturing company and you have an insurance. You receive some compensation. So compensation is required to be segregated because it is not your ordinary activity. But for insurance company, make payment of compensation is ordinary activity. So depending upon which kind of organization you are, on studying objective, by studying memorandum you can determine which is your operating activity. Now let us go to page number 314, illustration 11.1. I hope you have got the book, page number 311. 314, sorry, illustration 11.1. So this is a small exercise for you. We will take only few items. One of the item is plant and equipment at cost. In year 2005 it is 2000 and in 2006 it is 2350. The question is, what is your interpretation? If asset is increased, what is the reason of increase of the asset, and by determining the difference can you find out how much new machinery has been purchased, or what is the reason of change? It is cash outflow, and cash outflow is due to so first two answer is correct from Bharat and Praveen that there is a cash outflow, but the question pertaining to amount is not correct. So we have purchased asset, so there is a cash outflow, but can we determine that only 350 is the purchase price? So the difference is merely 350, but whether the new purchase is merely related to 350, less or more? Yes, from Barendranath, we have also take into care component of depreciation. So when there is a fixed asset which is changed, we have to consider three items. Because change in fixed asset may take place because of purchasing new asset. We may have disposed some old fixed asset, and then there is a depreciation. So by taking into consideration other accounts, purchase, disposal and depreciation, we can determine or segregate. So by merely one or two transactions we cannot know actually how the case has been increased or whether a particular transaction is only related to this. So we have to also look at purchase, disposal of any asset and depreciation. So this is an exercise for you. You find out how much new machine we have purchased, old machine disposed, gain and depreciation. There is a next illustration on page number 315. Same, there is a short term borrowing decrease from 147 to 126. Page number 314, below the machine line there is a line short term borrowing 147 decreased to 126. What is your interpretation? And what is the effect if borrowing is decreased? When borrowing decrease, there is a cash outflow. Either we have paid back. So you are correct. But whether can we know the net effect? The answer is no. We need more information. Cash and cash equivalent are held for meeting short-term commitment. It is really convertible into non-amount of the cash. It is very insignificant risk, and as earlier someone has suggested, it is for the short term, that is generally 3 months. Cash flow exclude movement between cash and cash equivalent. So when we determine cash flow, we wanted to know other current asset but not cash. Cash management include the investment of excess cash in cash equivalent. Features of the cash, as we earlier discussed, is classified into operating, investing and financing activity. Some of these 3 types of each cash flow respect net increase or decrease of cash and cash equivalent. Again, we classify cash into cash and cash equivalent and cash from ordinary activity and extraordinary activity. Can you give me an example of extraordinary activity? So cash inflow or outflow due to extraordinary activity. Expansion of plan is ordinary activity of the business. But premium received, the insurance compensation received is extraordinary cash inflow. So this is one more way how cash flow statement communicate sources and uses of cash in 3 major management activities: operating, investing and financing cash. Now from where operating cash comes into? Involve transactions that make up net income. We can classify or identify from a memorandum, charter or objective of the company, or from the market image. I have mentioned it separately because in company there is a memorandum where it is mentioned that in which item the company is dealing in, but for partnership firm there is no necessity under the Partnership Act to mention what is the objective of the partnership firm. Or even though it is mentioned in the partnership firm, partnership deed, partner can choose any other business too. Therefore, rather than a prescribed charter or memorandum or objective, partnership firm's ordinary activity can only be known from market image rather than merely the document. So operating activity we can classify from document in case of company, and in case of other things the market image. Question from Shaji: sale of fixed asset is not ordinary activity, it is investing activity, So I purchase fixed asset, I sell fixed asset is not my ordinary activity, it is my investing activity. So other than ordinary, investing and financing is extraordinary. So if it is not ordinary, not investing, not financing, then it will be extraordinary activity. So sale of fixed asset is investing activity. So your operating activity can be determined on the basis of 2 things. Operating activity include revenue transaction, expenses related to entities ongoing major business operations, sales, payment to employees, vendors, supplies. Question from Prashant: can you expand please? If sale of fixed asset is used to finance expansion, then how do we account? Okay. So then there is 2 things. The question is, if we sell some fixed asset, that is your investing activity. Again you purchase some other asset, because word has been used expansion. So investing activity. This is inflow. This is investing activity outflow. So directly I have sold one asset, I have purchased another asset. So it is related to investment outflow and investment inflow. The receipt of interest on loans and other debt securities. Cash collected from customers. Dividend received from stock investment. Question from Anil. Why do we consider depreciation when we determine the cash flow where it does not impact the cash? Therefore, because it does not make impact on cash, in determining profit we have reduced depreciation. So even though there was no cash outflow, we have reduced our profit. Therefore, we are adding it. Cash outflow: payment to employees, wages, disbursement to the vendors, payment of interest expenses, payment for income, sales, employment tax. Now, what are the management issues? Sometimes sales might be growing, but sales are made on accrual, on account, on credit. Company is not able to collect cash, enough cash, and how it can be determined? So there is no proper recovery. There are certain financial ratio which will be able to highlight whether your recovery ratio are effective or not. You might be spending too much cash on inventory that is not selling well. So you have utilized cash, you have sufficient inventory, but large number of inventory is piling up. So from that particular inventory ratio with relation to sales, you will be able to know that whether there is an optimum inventory level or not. You might have reduced sales, result in decreased cash inflow, while cash is also tied up in the inventory. So it may be combination with both. Your sale has been reduced on one hand, on other hand you have manufactured goods, so your inventory is increasing. So how we can know the gauge where the actual regions lies? By analyzing a particular ratio. Operating cash flow: sales revenue, inflow, cost saving, whether inflow or not. Cost saving is merely imaginary inflow, it is not real inflow, therefore I have made it red mark. Manufacturing expenses: outflow. Operation and management cost: outflow. Interest payment: outflow. Lease expenses: outflow. Income tax: outflow. Investing activity: it involves generally long-term asset transactions, purchasing or selling. Acquiring and selling marketable securities and long-term investment. Making loans and collecting loan principal. This is for the bank, NBFC and financial institute. Purchasing and disposing of long-term plant asset. A question: how much cash inflow if an old machine is sold? Say for example, I have purchased a machine in 2000. Year 2000. Every year I provide depreciation 100 rupees. My purchase price is 10,000 rupees, we assume. Depreciation, let us take 1,000 rupees. And I have sold in 2007 machine for 5,000. What is my cash inflow? I will repeat. I have purchased a machine 10,000 rupees. Depreciation every year I am providing 1,000 rupees. After 7 years I am selling for 5,000 rupees. So there are two answers which are correct from Amit and Anil Chaudhary. The total value I am receiving is the total outflow. So Lakshmi, you make correction. Amit, you make correction. The total amount I am receiving for disposal of machine is my inflow. So depreciation, so far the inflow is concerned, is to be ignored. So total amount that I have received, value received is my cash inflow, neither gain before depreciation or after depreciation. Now cash inflow is, I would give an example, selling stock and bond investment, collecting loan principal from borrowers, receiving cash from sale of plant asset, outflow, buying stock and bond investment, making loans to the borrowers, spending cash to the purchase plans. What are the management issue? Management issue is important to invest cash in long-term productive asset, but increased plant investment must be carefully analyzed, because long-term investment are generally irreversible in nature. It also involve a huge capital outlay. Therefore, it is required to be analyzed. Is management concerned with spending the right amount of cash on the plant? It means minimum the investment, if the return remains same, you are comparatively efficient. Does the concern rest with spending cash on the right plant investment? So this is the question of right amount and right plant. I am choosing a particular machine or technology is correct or not, and whether I have taken competitive rate from the suppliers or not. Investing cash flow, capital investment, outflow, salvage value, inflow, working capital outflow, working capital recovery inflow, capital gain. There is a question whether capital gain is cash flow or not. So in the previous slide we have seen that the total amount that we receive is my capital, my cash inflow, and therefore salvage value is the total amount I have received. So this is my salvage value. Someone has asked me the question about machinery. 5,000 rupees is my salvage value. So this is my inflow, not gain. Capital gain reflects outflow. It requires money to pay. Financing involve long-term debt and equity transaction, obtaining resource from the investors and creditors, providing investor with return of their investment, interest, etc., repaying principal amount borrowed from the creditors. These are the inflow. Issuing stock to the investor, borrowing money by giving not payable to the creditors, by selling bonds to the lenders, selling treasury stock, outflow, reacquiring treasury stock from the investors, permanently retiring stock, distributing cash dividend to the investor, repaying money borrowed, principal amount, face value of the bonds. Now what are the management issue here? While cash inflows from issuing bonds or making notes can give business needed resources or not, management should not become dependent on financing activity as a long-term source of cash. What are the reasons? So management should avoid certain liability. The reason is it requires fixed interest to be paid. As we have discussed, on debenture there is a fixed charge, so we have to pay interest regularly. Therefore we should be first determine that whether the business will be able to generate at least the case that we can make the payment to the debenture holder. Financing cash flow, borrowed amount, inflow, principal repayment, outflow. Interest and dividend. There is a big confusion between interest and dividend, and in US GAAP and Indian GAAP there is a difference. Again, interest for long-term capital, a long-term loan, and working capital is separately determined. Although it seems confusing at first, interest and dividend receipts are categorized as operating activities. Why? What is the main business that will determine whether it is operating or financing case? Interest received from investment, it is an investment activity. Received from short-term investment classified as cash equivalent should be considered as cash inflow from operating activity. If it is from short term, then it will be transferred as ordinary activity. If it is for long term, then investing activity. Received on trade advances and operating receivables should be in operating activity because it is your ordinary activity, like bank, like NBFC. Interest received, again for bank, NBFC, it is your ordinary activity or operating activity. Interest paid on loans and debts are financing activities if you are not a bank. On working capital loan and any other loan taken to finance operating activity are operating activities. Cash flow from interest should be separately disclosed. Interest paid for a bank depending upon operating activity. Dividend received for financial enterprise, it is operating activity because investment is their business. For other than financial enterprise, it is investing activities. Dividend paid always classified as financing activity in India. Cash flow from dividend should be separately disclosed. These are the few extraordinary items. Claim of insurance, fire loss. The cash flow associated with extraordinary items should be classified as arising from operating, investing or financing activity. It should be separately classified. Cash flow for tax payment, refund should be classified as cash flow from operating activity. If cash flow can be specifically identified as cash flow from investment, financing activity, appropriate classification should be made. Someone else asked about capital gain is an outflow. Capital gain tax, not capital gain. Capital gain tax is outflow. Not only capital gain, but capital gain tax, one has to pay tax, therefore there is outflow. I hope it is clear. Only the case between itself and the investee is required to be reported. Investee means where you are investing. If it is subsidiary, joint venture and associate, then the case outflow and inflow among subsidiary, joint venture and associate, they are known as this special investee. Say for example, cash flow relating to dividend and advance with subsidiaries separately disclosed required. Disposal in related concern, like previous item. If machines has been sold to joint venture or a subsidiary company, then it is to be separately disclosed, classified as investing activity. Total purchase and disposal should be disclosed separately. The reason is to identify whether the transaction is fair or not. The position of the purchase, disposal consideration discharged by means of cash and cash equivalent should be disclosed. How the payment was made. Question from Amit. Cash flow for tax payment is for the entire year, so why is operating activity? Okay, actually we are making payment of income tax for operating activity. So rather than the time for which purpose we are making payment of tax, that is our operating activity. So your income tax is the reason of income. Income is the result of your profit and loss account. So anything which is related to profit and loss account is your ordinary activity, therefore it is operating. Question from Anil. What is direct and indirect method in operating activity? Okay. So direct and indirect method only differs in operating activity. In indirect method, profit plus depreciation plus or minus disposal of fixed asset that will give the operating cash. In direct method, what is the total sale? What is total purchase? So change in sale, change in purchase, and what is the payment made and received. That will determine your operating cash. There are certain non-cash transactions. You might be aware about depreciation. This should be excluded from the cash flow statement. These transactions should be disclosed in the financial statement. Say for example, acquisition of asset by assuming direct related liabilities. Say for example, share has been issued Say for example, share has been purchased, acquisition of an enterprise by means of issue of equity share, conversion of debt into equity, loan into equity, or debenture into equity. That will be non-cash transaction, that is to be separately mentioned. The following disclosures are required. The component of cash and cash equivalent should be disclosed. Reconciliation of the amount in cash flow statement with the equivalent items reported in balance sheet to be reconciled. The amount of cash and cash equivalent balance held by enterprise that are not available for use. Say for example, there may be some restriction. So that restriction is required to be explained. Operating activity are those affecting computation of net income, shown as other revenue, receipt of interest revenue, receipt of dividend revenue, reported as other expense, payment of interest expenses. Only dividend payments are classified as something other than operating activity. Dividends are a financing activity. It is not used in the computation of net income. Now the difference between direct and indirect method is, direct method is easier to understand. The reason is, each transaction we can find out that this payment has been made for purchase, this payment has been made for expenses to meet, this payment we have received as a sales. Clearly communicate where cash came, where cash gone. Indirect method is less time consuming because we have a profit and loss account which is ready. So it is less time consuming. It provides better explanation, and therefore for listed company under SEBI clause it is mandatory. Provide better explanation of relationship between net income and cash flows. We can also reconcile what is the difference between profit and cash and why. Now how we can develop cash flow? Use net operating income from profit and loss account, add back and non-cash expense. Say for example, depreciation. So from operating income we take the item net operating cash flow equal to net income after tax plus depreciation. Cash revenue are cost of goods sold, depreciation, operating expense, interest expense, minus taxable income, that is income tax paid, plus depreciation. This is the chart that we already discussed. So this is the difference between direct and indirect method. Indirect method is on accrual based. It also reflects the change in 2 years balance sheet. There is one example on page number 331. It is analysis of a cash flow statement. This is with reference to an example given on page number 316, 11.3. Question from Vinay. How depreciation is revenue? Depreciation is not revenue. Depreciation is notional expense. Depreciation is imaginary expense where no cash outflow takes place. Therefore, I have never said depreciation is a revenue. In direct method we did not consider depreciation. In direct method there is no question of depreciation. Where the payment is made, from where the money is coming, depreciation will not be part in direct method. So direct method, the depreciation does not come into picture at all because we only consider those items where the payment is made, where the payment is received. So if you analyze it very precisely, you will be able to see that company is a net cash outflow or operating cash is lacking 2,28,000 and they have utilized investing cash in the regular business. Now which kind of financial ratio can be helpful in determining cash or cash equivalents or the position of cash? Cash realization ratio is the cash generated by operations divided by net income. So cash realization ratio is cash generated by operations. It means only cash related to operating activity. divided by net income. Cash coverage ratio. It is the time interest earned and fixed charges coverage. So this is with related to payment of interest I have to make. Time interest earned is equal to pre-tax income before interest. How much income I have to pay and how much interest I have to pay. So it determines how many time case I have with reference to interest I need to pay. Page number 333. There are two examples. Problem 11.1. It's very simple, you can try. And problem 11.2. In the first case, you need to determine how much cash was generated from sales during 2003. Barindra, try again please. So your answer is not correct. Try again. Question from Arindam Guha is correct. Pradeep, you are correct. Ajit incorrect. Yagna incorrect. Answer from Indore is correct. Incorrect. Aditya incorrect. Mumbai incorrect. Devendra incorrect. Subrata incorrect. Ujjwal incorrect. Pradeep and Arindam is correct. Hyderabad incorrect. Chennai incorrect. Let us go to the answer. The total sale is 87,43,000 and change in account receivable, that is the outflow. When account receivable increase, account receivable is an asset, so when asset increase, there is a cash outflow of 70,000. Cash generated from sale is 86,73,000. Try for 11.2. So for each item you mention what is the interpretation. So 11.1 is this answer. You can go now to 11.2. There are 5 sub questions. So in item number A, issued a note is a financing source. It is like promissory note, and we have used that proceed in investment. So inflow is financing in item number 1 and outflow is investment. 2 million piece of equipment is purchased with a proceed of a note, 12-month note. So we received money against a note is a financing source. We have purchased from that equipment is an investment. Point number 2. 11.2. So 2 units are different. Mortgage bonds are retired with $790,000 in cash, and we have issued number of 1,50,000 share. It is not dollar. So usually you cannot subtract it. Units are different. Cash proceed by issuing stock is a financing source, and used to retire mortgage bond is a financing use. So both the transactions, that is 7,90,000, is cash inflow and outflow in financing. So 150,000 is number of share. So you cannot subtract it. Financing, so you issued stock, retired debenture. Next one, item number 3, 11.2. This item is testing for you. Praveen, you are not correct. Hemant, not correct. Arindam, not correct. Shyam Prasad, not correct. Abhinav is correct. No effect on cash. Abhinav is correct. The purchase is on credit. 20 lakhs of inventory purchase on account. So there is no involvement of cash outflow inflow. Item number 4. In D also, dividend is only declared. So declaration of the dividend does not affect the cash outflow. So item number 3 and 4 there is no effect because dividend is merely declared. So there is no cash outflow. But if you are shareholder, then you have to recognize revenue even dividend is not actually paid, because in final dividend declaration becomes your revenue. Item number 5. Item number 5. You have to determine which kind of inflow or outflow it is and what is the amount. Sayed, you are right, no case effect in the item number 4. Go to item number 5 now. So answer is correct. Cash proceed as investment, that is 15 lakhs. So total amount that we receive, irrespective of what is total depreciation, what is accumulated cost, depreciation, 15 lakhs will be the inflow of cash. So if you have any question related to this presentation, we will address first the question, then we will go to the next presentation. So financial statement is used frequently for different stakeholder making analysis and managerial decisions. Different user has different uses. We have a small exercise. As on March 31, a company who have share of rupees 12,000 in cash, held 95,000 of inventory and owned other items that originally cost rupees 13,000. The company had borrowed 40,000 from State Bank of India. You prepare the balance sheet. This particular illustration has been taken with a small modification in exercise number 1.1 of the Robert Anthony. From this detail, you prepare the balance sheet. Ajit, make little correction. Bharat, you are right in formula. You find out the figure now. Shweta, you are right. Yagna, you are right. Rajesh, make correction. Subrata, make correction. Ujjwal, make correction. Dilip, incorrect. MJ Saji, correct. Abhinav, correct. Pradeep, correct. Amit, incorrect. Prashant, correct. Anil Chaudhary, correct. Can you expand the answer from Indore? Mayuk Shah. Asset is equal to liability is, you are correct. Cheney, correct. So it is very simple. There are three assets: cash, inventory and other asset. So total asset is 1,20,000. SBI loan is 40,000 and equity is therefore balancing figure 80,000. Now from this figure you find out net worth. What is net worth of this company? You find out net worth of the company from balance sheet. Ujjwal, you are correct. Arindam, you are not correct. So it is very clear. Total asset is 1,20,000 minus outside liability, that is 40,000. So net worth is 80,000. Or other formula I had given you. Equity plus reserve, it is 80,000 minus fictitious asset. There is no fictitious asset. Therefore your equity, that is 80,000, is your net worth. Aditya, you are correct. Now there are few transactions. Owner invested rupees 25,000 in cash. The owner received the share. Actually, you are required to prepare the format of a balance sheet. I will give you the format like this: cash plus debtors plus inventory plus equipment equal to accounts payable plus equity. So from each transaction you try to find out, you make a chart. Owner invested rupees 25,000 in cash. You write second transaction. The month rent 5,000 was paid. So in this particular format, when you make the payment of rent, what will be the effect? I will give second clue to you. Cash will be reduced 500 and equity will also be reduced 500. You write third. So this ultimately will lead to prepare a balance sheet. You try to see the how transaction actually affect item of the balance sheet. First transaction 25,000 cash increase, equity increase. 500 cash reduced, equity reduced. You purchase equipment 80,000 on credit. Someone has mentioned correct. So account payable increase 80,000, equipment increase 80,000. Fourth, rupees 500 was paid for office supply. Now whether office supply is an expense, then the equity decrease. In any case 500 rupees decrease, cash decrease. Advertising costing rupees 750 was paid. So cash decrease, equity also decrease. Paid rupees 3,000 in cash, which was for salary. Cash reduced 3,000, equity reduced 3,000. On travel commission of rupees 10,000, which rupees 2,000 received by cash. Transaction number 7. This transaction is a testing transaction for you. Number 7, you have earned travel commission 10,000 rupees and you received 2,000 as the cash. Devendra, you are not correct. Here revenue recognition concept or revenue recognition principle or accounting standard 9 is relevant. Pradeep has given a correct answer. Revenue increase, therefore equity increase 10,000, debtors 8,000 and cash 2,000 rupees. Next one. So in transaction 7, revenue is 10,000, so equity increased 10,000, debtors 8,000 and cash 2,000. Transaction number 8, paid rupees 5,000 of 8,000 owed to the equipment supplier. So cash reduced 5,000. Account payable reduced 5,000. Used 100 rupees for office supplies. So in one of the previous items someone has mentioned office supply is a asset. Here you can assume, because 100 rupees has been consumed. Previously it was an asset, 500 rupees. Now this particular amount is segregated as an expense. Charge rupees 1000 of miscellaneous expenses. So you appreciate that when some asset is created, does not make an impact on the asset equity, but when it is considered as an expense, 100 rupees now will reduce 100 rupees equity. You can also prepare on this basis income statement, cash flow statement, balance sheet. So 3 statements you can prepare from this particular analysis of the transaction. This was the format. You can check with your my entry and your entry. From this you can prepare the balance sheet, income statement and cash flow statement. Last transaction was charge rupees 1000 of miscellaneous expenses on credit card. So I will explain that 1000 rupees is reducing equity, but it will not reduce cash because it is on credit. So account payable increase. Question from Arihant: what is the difference between credit card and on account? So they are ultimately one and same. I have purchased on credit, I have expended money, but I have not paid, and therefore you can see here that equity is reduced because this particular transaction is related to expense. It is for miscellaneous expenses. Therefore 1000 rupees equity reduced, account payable increase. You can just check my balance sheet with your balance sheet. equity 29,650, current liability 4,000, total liability 33,650, equipment 8,000, supplies inventory 400, 500 minus 100, debtors 8,000 and cash 17,250. Now you can also prepare income statement from the given transactions and its analysis. Question from Indore. Can you expand please? Can we write account receivable instead of debtors? Yes, it is one and same. Debtors are account receivable. Similarly, creditors are account payable. It is one and same. These are the asset, this is the liability. You can check your income statement with my income statement. Commission 10,000, only inflow of the revenue. Expenses are rent, advertisement, salary, supplies and miscellaneous expenses 5350. Net income is 4650. Where shall we get answer of book? So it is already given in the book. Chapter number 1, yes, chapter number 1 only. So this is the answer I am giving you. Net income is 4650. Now you can prepare cash flow statement and compare with my cash flow statement. This is receipt, 25,000 and 2,000 commission. You also find out the payment and make the difference between inflow and outflow. These are the payment outflow: rent, supply, advertisement, salaries, vendors, total 9750. This was the receipt. So net increase in cash is 17,250. One more small exercise. Owner brought capital of rupees 10,000 into the business. Prepare balance sheet. Second item, business purchase land for rupees 5,000. Third transaction, business purchase goods worth rupees 5,000 on credit. Question from Arindam: where is commission mentioned in the question? Okay. Item number 7. You can read now. Earned travel commission of rupees 10,000, out of which 2,000 is received as cash. So 8,000 is debtors, we have to collect it in the balance sheet. In income statement we have received commission, profit and loss account, 2000 we have received actual cash. So you note down the transaction I am referring. 3 transactions are there. Owner brought capital 10,000 rupees. Business purchased land for 5,000. Payment is made cash. And business purchased goods for rupees 5,000 and it is on credit from Nitin. You prepare 3 balance sheet. So in the first case, capital is equal to 10,000, cash is 10,000. Second, capital is 10,000, asset is land 5,000, cash 5,000. And in the third case, capital 10,000, current liability 5,000, payable to Nitin. Total asset 5,000, land 5,000, goods and 5,000 cash. The next slide is also related to interpretation of the transaction, but I think the time will not permit us to discuss this. If you have any question, let us take first the question, then we will conclude the session. Question from Ujjwala: the chapters not included for discussions, are they included for the final test? What is given in the schedule, that will be part of your discussion, and that is so, and for the examination also the same thing. So I had given you the whole list which chapter. A question from Satish: quiz on 14th will be on which chapter? Today's chapter. So discussion which took place today, that will be for the next quiz. What ratio do we need to find out for the assignment? I will give you the whole list of ratio in the next session. So that will be part of your determining ratio in the assignment. In the next session we will discuss the ratio, arrange them. Okay. Thank you and good night.